The college football experience. Midshipmen 2024 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, sign up. And when you do, sign up with the promo code TCE SGPN to claim your first time deposit offer of up to $250 in bonus cash. They just introduced college football best ball. I've been waiting for someone to do some college football best ball for about 20 years. So hop on over there, underdogfantasy.com, promo code TCE SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm's college football and NFL picks and projections are now live. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
This is Mike Leach, head football coach at Mississippi State, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Football experience, Navy Midshipmen 2024 season preview episode. Ahoy! All right, ahoy! It could be a big year in Annapolis because we got a 12-team playoff, and I think historically, you go back to the Keenan Reynolds days. Navy, I think, would have got. If you do an exercise, go through the past 10 seasons. I think twice Navy would have been to the to the college football playoff if it was a 12-team model. But that's when Ken Niumatalolo really had that thing rolling. Hopefully you just listened to our interview with Ken Niumatalolo that we did a couple weeks back. Shout out to Coach, but he's gone. Brian Newberry's the guy. We're going to talk all about it. YouTube.com/the college experience as I break down or as we break down all 134 college football teams in the land with a solo pod for every single team. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, that's fair. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
Sir, I love talking Service Academy football. They are, to me, are the epitome of college football. I can't say enough good things about all the service academies. To me, it's that's how you know the real from the fake. If you meet college football fans and they say, "Oh yeah, I love college football," and then you ask them about Army, Navy, you're asking about, and they don't subscribe. That's how you know you're dealing with the Fugazi. All right. I am joined by my co-host. He is the host of the Bottom Line Bombs podcast. Some know him as Scumbagger Vance. Some know him as the Bet Detective.
He's the kind of guy that would drink a gallon of gasoline so he could piss in your campfire. You could drop this guy off at the Arctic Circle wearing a pair of bikini underwear without his toothbrush, and tomorrow afternoon he's going to show up at your poolside with $1 million smile and a fistful of pesos.
He will show up at your poolside. I give you CJ Sullivan. How are you, brother?
Good. How we doing, Dundee? And you're right about that. Service Academy being the epitome of football. Of course, that's its origins. I grew up, of course, Philadelphia, went to the Army-Navy game every year. Me and my dad would go to that. Sit up top there, the vet, watch the comedy skits, watch them go early, watch them file in the formations. I loved it. Still one of my favorite games, the Army-Navy.
I think I'm going to it this year. It's at FedEx this year, but I think I'm going to go to it.
They started moving it around. They started fucking cupcaking it. Everyone started whining. Philadelphia was perfect for it, goddamn. But it's all right, whatever.
It should be Franklin Field, though. They played it a long time at Franklin Field. They got to bring it back.
Used to be at JFK before that.
Yeah.
Beautiful stadium.
Yeah, they've done They've done it. But look, I knew I circled you. You were going through.
Yeah.
We're going. I was like, oh, the bet detective. He could talk some Navy football. That's
Yes,
how I know the
absolutely.
real from the fake. You know.
Mhm.
What's your opinion right now of is it troubled waters? Niumatalolo. A lot of people weren't comfortable with the way he got fired.
Right.
And the fact that Brian Newberry, some say, maybe just might have crossed the line by going to the AD and kind of being in cahoots with him while the season was still going. But first year under Brian Newberry, 5-7, didn't have a win against a team with a winning record. Where are you at with the Midshipmen right now?
I think it's okay. I think they're calling their way up. I mean, obviously, when they were humming, when they from 2003 to 17, they had 14 winning seasons out of 15, and peaking when they were 11-2, and like they were great. But then they had 4 years losing in a row, and it was time for him to go. I mean, he was there a long time. Newberry 1 year, of course, they beat Army. They're 6-6. They hung tough last year with like Memphis, and SMU. They weren't terrible versus Tulane and Air Force. They were overmatched versus Notre Dame and SMU, of course, but they were close in a lot of those games. So I like the way they're marching. I mean, now this year I think might be very similar to next year, but I can easily add on top of this. I think they've steered the ship, if you will, and they've moved into the tide is turning. It's easy to see a tide sometimes, and you can't win.
I got you.
I think tide turning. As I remember, I was raised in the desert, but tides kind of turn. It's easy to see a tide turn.
Yes.
Did I say those words?
I think they dug themselves out a little bit and they steered a little bit in the right direction. And I like the way they played last year. I mean, they got to get better, obviously, but yeah, I think they're okay. I think they're in a bowl is within grasp this year.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. Like, to me, I thought they should have been a little more patient with Niumatalolo because the COVID practice things they had to deal with were fucking horrible. But it's not to say Newberry can't be a good coach. Maybe he will be a good coach at Navy.
Yeah. And they've always been handicapped anyway, as far as, recruiting goes. Obviously, there are strict requirements, and especially with the portal. It's not that people don't go there in the portal. They just don't recruit them. Like, they don't go. Yeah. They don't look for it.
Oh, you're thinking about joining the Navy as a sophomore? No, fuck you.
Yeah, sign up.
Look, that's the graphics. YouTube.com/the college experience. 0-1 against Army, not a good start there. 0-1 against Air Force, not a good start there. And 0-6 against teams 500 or better. But, Brian Newberry played DB for the Baylor Bears.
Yeah, sure did.
All right. Coached at Lehigh, Elon, Northern Michigan, Jerry Glanville's alma mater. Kennesaw State, the Owls, who are jumping up to the FBS this year. They brought in new offensive coordinator Drew Cronick, who was the head coach of the Mercer Bears. DC PJ Volker back as well. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a big year for him though, because if he can just get to 6-6 and get to a bowl,
yes,
I think that'll be a good sign of things moving forward in the AAC and with this midshipman team. We do this exercise. Well, wait, hang on. Let me tell the folks out there that you are listening to the College Football Experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Sports Gambling Podcast just launched their 32-team NFL season preview series. 32 episodes, 32 teams. And as silly as their fucking kickoff is now in the NFL, don't worry. All right. This will be look, there's still money to be made. And as a bonus, each team preview with Sports Gambling Podcast will include a code word. Submit the 32 code word phrase, and you could be the lucky winner who gets a $500 NFL Circa future bet. So subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and the SGPN app, which is free to download in the App Store or Google Play Store. So hop on over there and let it ride. Mm-hmm. All right, back talking Navy midshipman football. And look, you might forget this, old bet detective, but for the group of five, we circled the best wins. And let me tell you, under Paul Johnson and Keenan Reynolds, the best win since the turn of the century. I'm asking you this question. You got several Notre Dame wins here. It's even 2 pages deep here. 3 Notre Dame wins, 3 Pitt wins. I mean, they really kind of kicked ass this past, since the turn of the century, because they were struggling in the 90s there.
For sure.
What is the best? It's got to be Notre Dame, right?
Always Notre Dame. Anytime you beat Notre Dame, especially at Notre Dame in your Navy, I mean, come on. It doesn't get better. It doesn't get better than that.
I agree.
Even at home, because it's all Notre Dame fans, because they travel, and they come, and that's so it gets annoying.
Yeah, I'd like to actually file a complaint with Notre Dame.
Sure. I'm all for that.
Just want to bring up this factoid. That's a rivalry. Wikipedia has a page for Notre Dame Navy because it should be. It is a rivalry. They've been playing for 100 since 1927. All right, they've met 96 times. All right, this year will be the 97th time. Do you know how many times they played at Annapolis Stadium at Navy Memorial Stadium in Annapolis?
Out of 96?
Yeah.
How many times have they played at Annapolis Stadium? I'd say 35.
Not one goddamn time.
Come on! What are we doing over here?
I demand for them to play once, you filthy, filthy whores, Notre Dame.
That's why it's always great to be Notre Dame, because these money assholes, they run everything. They'll fly them over to Ireland so they can beat the shit out of them.
That's what I'm saying. You got games going on in goddamn Dublin. You can't even play one on like in a classic stadium in Annapolis, Maryland, on their turf.
Terrible.
That's why you can't love them. That's why you can't love Notre Dame. Let's go Navy. Beat their ass this year. The offense. Let's talk about the offense, because they are bringing in Drew Cronick, because last year they said, hey, they brought in this Kennesaw guy and they're going to pass more. Well, how'd that work out for you? Well, 122nd in scoring per game, 17.7 points per game. It was third worst in the AAC, 123rd in yards, second worst in the AAC, 128th in passing. They were dead last in passing. So even with your radical shift to passing the ball more,
well, I mean,
you threw for a cool $105.
Yeah, I know it was a radical shift. They still led the country in rushing attempts, or led the conference at least. Yeah, I mean, 194 yards. They
either
honestly,
way, they were getting a little too cute with it for old Dundee.
They were getting a little cute for Dundee.
17th in rushing in the nation, dude. They weren't even top 10 rushing, and they ran.
That's what I mean. They weren't even good enough running the ball, because that diluted it, being all that cutesy stuff trying to learn pass routes.
That's what I'm saying. All right, like folks, this is Navy. All right,
right.
Guess what Roger Staubach did there? He ran the fucking ball. All right.
Goddamn right. And if you see my name, Dodger Starbuck is a tribute to Roger, by the way.
Oh man. The offense, guess what? They returned 7 starters, not at the quarterback spot though, but I am excited for Blake Horvath. All right. To come in at the quarterback spot. I think it's going to be him.
He's a great rushing quarterback, and he's a playmaker. I should say they ran the ball 71% of the time last year, which was third in the country.
Not good enough for Dundee.
Not good enough for Dundee. But just like Army, they kicked out their coordinator to move him up. Was it Grant Chestnut was the coordinator before that?
Yeah, Army made the switch mid-season last year.
Yeah, they sure did.
They started losing a bunch of games, and Monkey goes, "What the hell's going on here?" Right?
Fuck this.
Fullback dive. Fullback dive.
Yeah, how'd I ever let you talk me into this goddamn cupcake party here?
If you look at Army's thing, it was like they were throwing like 14 passes a game for like the first 6 weeks, and they were like 1 or 2 and 4, right? Yeah. And then Monken just finally had enough, and you can just look at the pass logs. All of a sudden, it went to like 2 or 3 passes a game, and next thing you know, they end up 6 and 6. All right, you don't need all this crazy shit. All right. You don't. All right. 7 starters back.
Crazy shit.
You really don't.
Pass.
I said, they would have made the playoffs twice with this offense in the past decade. Your running backs.
Yeah, Alex Teska is great. He's a fullback / running back, but he led them in rushing, right? 5 touchdowns, 750 yards. He's a great returner.
And Heidenreich is coming. Eli Heidenreich is coming back. Also, Brendan Chapman. I mean, they got those backs. You got 4 out of 5 on the offensive line. Look, you got your receivers are all not coming back, but that's okay, because look, you just need them to block. Which right. There's an art to that though. But
sure.
Yeah, I think Horvath and then Braxton Woodson, you might get some reps too. But kicker Nathan Kirkwood is back in case it's a close game. You know, they play a lot of close games. The old service academies do.
Yeah, they had a weird stat. So he had a rough end of the year last year. Kirkwood, he missed a bunch, a couple big ones too. But their defense, it was kind of an odd stat. Only half the field goals attempted on them were good. So somehow they made the other team miss half their attempts. I like that.
Or it's just they played Army in Air Force, right? Lane Gretzky in the chat. Yes, sir. C blocked. I can't talk. Jeez.
C blocked talk.
Yeah. Talking Navy football. You gotta love it. Timothy Green saying can't wait for the Army Navy game every year. Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah. Where do you put that? Where do you put that as far as college football? Right. I get, you know me, I'm just a hot tempered son of a gun over here. And I see all these things that try to promote the best rivalries. And they're like, all these graphics on social media that say the game, Ohio State, Michigan, and the Iron Bowl and the Red River Shootout. And look, those are all fucking great, but to not put the Army Navy graphic is insulting to me.
That is, it really is.
It's like the epitome of college football. That rivalry is the epitome of college football.
And it used to stand on its own. I don't know if it still does, but it would stand on its own. Maybe a Heisman afterwards, the Heisman presentation afterwards. But then because the one year the Navy quarterback helicoptered up there to New York afterwards. I mean, that was great. But it's the only game on. It's amazing. That's what it's for.
This year the playoffs will be on, and it's the bowl games, I think. Or no, I think it will be the bowl games, right? But it's alone. Those bowl games are happening after. I don't have a big deal with that as long as like, you Navy Army should be the main focus. If you want to throw on the fucking Hawaii Bowl or something, I'm okay with it. I know a lot of people bitched about this, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah. All right. But you have to put the graphic on there, but by any means.
Yeah.
I have to have a question for you though, because you're my FCS guy. And speaking, what do you think of Cronch's? What did you think of Cronch's over? He came from Mercer, right?
Yeah, and I thought he was doing a decent job at Mercer. But I was surprised by the hire. If that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
And it makes me wonder if they're going to try some different things. If you watch Mercer now, normally when you have football coaches come in like from elsewhere, because they were not running the triple at Mercer. They were 8-3 last year, but he had done a damn good job. I thought he took over a program that really hadn't won 10 games since 2013. Not that he won 10, but he had winning seasons every year after his first. So I think he's a good football coach, but I am intrigued with what he can do with essentially this offense. Are they going to try to not, run the ball as much? I wonder, because Mercer was kind of a balanced team. Part of me thinks they'll just go back to the run, run the formula that Navy has used for a majority of the past, 50 years. But what do you think?
Well, I know he likes to stretch the field and he likes to attack the edges a bit, but also run. He kind of runs like we've been dying for someone to run a wing tee in college football in general. And he kind of runs a version of it. I think he calls it the sling tee when he hits the edges, the sling tee.
And I do love that name.
Yeah, that's an amazing name. So that I was kind of excited for. And it makes sense, especially with those new blocking rules, you can't run the straight up triple wishbone or coming at you. A sling tee that kind of attacks the edges and the soft spots over there could be interesting. But he just likes to stretch the field. So, and vertically, who knows how that'll work out, like you said. Usually not. So I don't know. We'll see. Interesting.
Now the portal, they didn't bring in anybody. But they did lose.
They did not.
They did lose Tyler Baker to Rhode Island with the Rams. He's going up there to Rhode Island.
Right.
And running back Denham Edwards heading to Presbyterian, the Blue Hose down there in South Carolina. Those losses mean anything to you? No, it doesn't mean much to me.
No, not at all.
All right. Well, look.
I mean, we wish them all well, but a lot of people are going to leave. A lot of people are going to leave the service academy.
Yeah. Look, before we get to the defensive side of the ball, I want to tell you that the college football experience Navy Midshipmen previews brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Underdog Fantasy just launched Underdog Streaks. Hit your first 2 pick'em entries, and then you go streaking. If you hit an 11-0 run, you can win 1,000 times the money you enter. Plus, Best Ball Mania is live with $15 million in prizes. They just added another college football contest for Best Ball. Telling you, we're going to highlight it on this platform. College football best ball is finally here, and I think I'm doing backflips over here. You can now use specials and boost on all flexed entries. So what are you doing? Sign up, and when you do, sign up with the promo code TCE SGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com promo code TCE SGPN. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Yes, Game Time is now an authorized ticket marketplace of the MLB. So maybe you're a Navy fan. Maybe you're over there in Annapolis. You're thinking about hitting Camden Yards. Well, you are going to want, first off, that stadium's amazing, but you're also going to want to pull out the Game Time app, because Game Time is the authorized ticket marketplace of the MLB, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. With killer last minute deals, all in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. And it works for college football too. If you're planning on going to Navy Memorial for a game, which by the way, you should, or the Army Navy game in Landover this year, which by the way, you should, it works just as well for that too. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the redeeming code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, terms apply. Create that account. Redeeming code CFBX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, back talking midshipman football. The defense, Brian Newberry, he was a DC at Navy before he became the head coach. This is his bread and butter here. The defense last season, 37th in the nation in scoring per game, just giving opponents only scoring 22.4 points per game. That was top 5 in the AAC, coming in at 4th. 44th in yards, 353.7 yards per game. That was 4th best in the AAC. 67th in pass defense. That was 6th best in the AAC. 33rd in rush defense, 4th best in the AAC. All top half in the AAC, and pretty good numbers considering, they weren't able to score the ball much. Now, obviously the service academies bleed the clock some. That always helps, but anything stand out from you here, Bet Detective?
I thought their defense was solid last year. Their run D was good. Their pass rush wasn't bad. Especially for usually you could rely on them to eat up the clock, whatever, and keep them rested, but wasn't exactly the case last year. I thought they held their own. I thought their defense was fine.
Yeah, and they
but like you said, nothing spectacular in any department, but just solid all the way around.
Yeah, and they returned 7 starters in that defense. The big concern D line, though, only bringing back Justin Reed on that D line.
Right.
I'm kind of excited about the linebacking core with Colin Ramos and Luke Paris, as well as Job Grant. Keep an eye out on Job Grant had a big spring.
Yeah, Ramos and Paris are probably their 2 best players on the roster.
And then the secondary, man, you bring back pretty much everybody in the secondary here with Deshaun Peel, Andrew Duhart, and Beatty Williams, and Rawan Lane, and punter Riley Reithman.
Don't forget about him. 20 more punts in the next one, even closest to him. That's a kind of a sound on the offense, but anyway, and also, but 20 more punts, 20 punts over more than 50 yards or over, 20 punts inside the 20. I mean,
unbelievable.
All ACC for a reason, buddy.
Sean Landetta 2.0.
Yes,
all
sir.
Right? Look, before we talk about the portal, because the defense it did take some hits, and the schedule. We're gonna go game by game on the Navy schedule and talk about whether you should be betting the over, the under, and how the midshipmen might look this season. I want to tell you, the college football experience is brought to you by Rhythm. Football season is here, and college football and NFL models are now live on Rhythm. Create your own winning betting model, or let Rhythm do the heavy lifting for you. You decide what stats matter to you most, and Rhythm will build a custom model around that. Or you could just be lazy and just let Rhythm and its predictive models do all that heavy lifting for you and bring you home some cash. Rhythm uses AI projections from MIT data scientists and quants. Rhythm already has you covered for NFL Week 1 and college football Week 0. I like those Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets plus 13 against the Seminoles there in Dublin. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. We're also brought to you by Circus Survivor at Circa Millions. Yes, Circus Sports is back with Circus Survivor at Circa Millions, giving away $16 million in prizes. If you don't have a trip booked yet for Vegas before football season, may I recommend the Ultimate Contest Week. It's a great time to go out. You can hang with my pals, Stacking the Money Green and Real Money Kramer from the Sports Gambling Podcast, and enjoy some of the open bar events at the greatest sports book in the world, August 22nd to August 24th. Use the promo code SGP15 as well to save you 15% off your hotel room there at Circa for that weekend. Sign up in person at Circa between now and September 7th. Obviously, the season kicks then for the National Football League. And use a proxy to play from anywhere. We even have a deal with footballcontest.com. So just go to proxy.footballcontest.com, type in the promo code SGP. We're going to save you $50. So hop on over there. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride. Back talking midshipman football, 7 starters back on the defensive side. What's that?
A note real quick on that weekend, that spot you just read. I will also be out there for that weekend, and a promise to all the college football experience fans: if you find me at Circus sign up weekend contest, I will let you in to be a part of the next chapter of the Road to 10 Million docuseries. You'll make a cameo.
Well, I don't get bring the head cold, but
get on out there. Hit up the Bet Detective. He's on Twitter at CJ Sullivan _
Just
host
saying.
of the Bottom Line Bombs. You can be a part of his docuseries.
I'll make you a star, C. Generics. Come on out.
There you go. 7 starters back on the defensive side of the ball.
Yep.
And they did take a hit though when Jacob Busick went to UCLA. You sandbagging son of a gun.
Yeah, that hurt. That certainly hurt. And your boy Elias Larry went to Colorado State.
Man,
not as well.
These Rams. Couple hits. Obviously, they definitely lose the portal, and they took more hits on the defensive side of the ball than the offensive side of the ball, which kind of makes sense considering the defense was way better and the offense was ass a season ago. Bet Detective, the win total sitting at 3.5.
That's not true at all. No. It's 5.5. It's
5.5. Yeah, I think I fucked that up. 5.5 wins. Plus 4,000 to win the AAC championship.
That's correct.
Yes, plus 30,000 to make the 12-team playoff. And by the way, in case you're wondering, the over is at plus 125. The under's at minus 150. So disregard the 3.5. That is 5.5. Typo.
Got to get in the Canva, clean that up.
I do. My apologies. My apologies.
Get a paint shop.
The schedule.
Okay.
Let's jump into it because my first reaction is they could do this. They could fucking do this.
Yep. They could also not.
Week 1, the Bucknell Bison are coming to town. 1-0.
That's a W. Yep.
Week 2, your Temple Owls are coming into town.
Yeah, that's another win.
2-0 for the midshipmen.
Temple's dead. Temple's dead to me.
EJ Warner's now at Rice.
I know.
They get a bye week. I'll tell you this, there is a benefit. I power rank the games on the right, whereas I think your 3 easiest games are in your first 4 games.
Yeah.
They get a bye week. They did have Memphis's number for a while there, but not recently. Memphis won like 3 or 4 in a row. I feel like
they hung really tough with them last year. That was at Memphis. So Memphis, you're always aware of Navy. It's not like you ever overlooked them. But this is gonna be tough sledding this game.
You feel like you want this in November or something. You know what I mean?
I hear it's just too early for it. You're
right. I'll take the Memphis Tigers to get it done. So 2-1, and this
it sets up nicely after the bye and the 2 kind of easy wins. But yeah, Memphis is just too good.
Yeah, and then they head to Birmingham, Penetrope Stadium there to take on the Blazers. This is winnable, man. This is winnable. Oh man, what are you doing here? I feel like this is like a true toss up for your total. Like this is going to play a pivotal role here.
Yeah, I think this is winnable, and I think not the best spot for them.
They beat him 31-6 a year ago.
Right. Yeah, you know what? Give me Navy here.
I'm with you. Let's go.
Let's go.
3-1. You sank my battleship, my ass. But now they go to Colorado Springs, take on Troy Calhoun's bunch, and this is one. Yeah, this is gonna be a 3-point game.
This is the year to get Air Force.
I agree. All right.
I don't know.
I don't know either, man. Calhoun's too good of a coach.
All right.
I'm
gonna take Air Force here.
I'll take Air Force 17-14.
Yeah.
All right, so that puts you at 3-2 heading into the second bye week. The bye week's definitely not the greatest alignment.
Yeah, 3-2.
Yeah,
those are 2 quick early buys.
Yeah, and then now they technically kind of get 3, as you see at the very end there. Obviously, the Army game is not on November 30th. I forgot the date there, but now they are hosting the Charlotte 49ers. I actually got Charlotte winning this one.
What? That's crazy.
Biff Poggi's a Maryland high school coaching legend.
Hey, you don't have to tell me about Biff Poggi. I was the one who rode Biff. You're the one who faded him last year. Me and him were smashing the podium.
I am on the over this year all day.
Smashing the podium from our stock market jobs.
I just did the Charlotte preview this morning. Go listen to that.
All right. No, I like Charlotte and I love Biff, but Navy's winning this game. Come on, off the bye.
No.
Off the bye, coming at home. I will lock that up. Whatever. Play the song.
Oh my God.
Whatever the hell you guys do, I'll do a fucking bet with this one.
We will do battle, you sandbagging son of a bitch. Biff's going up there. He's a Maryland guy through and through. All right.
Good for him. He is a Maryland guy. I'll give you that. It is regional. There's a reason.
You know why they're going to lose that? Is because they're thinking about the Irish and Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And what this year's one's at with the Meadowlands?
Yeah, where are they making them travel to this time for their home game?
I wrote this down. I just can't remember it right now. Let me see.
It's probably in Maryland. It's probably in,
why do I think it was at the Meadowlands this year?
No,
yeah, it is. It's at MetLife. Yeah, the Meadowlands.
It is. All right. Yeah, no, they're not winning this game.
Yep, not winning it. Although Notre Dame's left tackle just got out for the season today.
Yeah, congratulations, Navy.
So got a little easier for you.
That's terrible. All right.
Now so
you have them losing to Charlotte and ND, huh?
That's
terrible. I do. I have them at 4-3 now. What do I have them at? 2-0.
You have wins against Bucknell, Temple, UAB, and Charlotte. Yeah.
I have them 4-3 after Notre Dame.
I got them at 3-4. Now they head to Houston, Texas, take on EJ Warner and these Rice Owls. This is winnable. But Eileen Rice loss.
Yeah, I mean they put up a lot of points out there, Rice in that system. They went there. It's a toss up. There's a lot of toss up games in here. Like that's been the theme in all of our college football previews. A lot of toss up games. But after the Notre Dame, they'll be licking their wounds as well.
Actually, you know what? Maybe they get this one. They're gonna get one of these next couple opponents. So give me a 4th win here for the Midshipmen against the Rice Owls.
All right, I'll have a loss. Now we're even on our records, and I'm sure we have them both losing to South Florida.
They go to Raymond James.
Although it's winnable, but they're not going to.
Yeah, I got South Florida winning that one. Then they're home to Tulane. I hate where they play Tulane. If they had just played Tulane earlier in the year, I feel like they're susceptible to beat them. But by then, Summerall's going to have Tulane going. It is going to be cold.
Yeah.
But I lean Tulane here.
Yeah, no, I definitely lean Tulane. The Tulane, I think, is one of the almost. It is at home. It'll be cold, but this is almost up not for debate. I'd be willing to listen to beating South Florida than I would to Tulane.
Well, they're not winning on the 30th when they go into Dowdy Ficklin Stadium. All right,
play that song.
So that's got me still at 4 wins. Do you have them beating ECU?
I haven't beating ECU. Here's the thing with ECU. Here's the thing with ECU, and I love the program. And I love the Pirates. I love the purple. Towards the end of the year, you never know what the hell's going on with them.
Houston could be fired. He could be their coach if they underachieve.
Yeah.
But they are Phil Steele's most improved team in all the land.
Listen, I like them, but towards the end of the year, they are schizophrenic. They are a mess sometimes.
Not at the Fick, not at Dowdy Ficklin. Let's get rowdy at the Dowdy. And now you got a 12-team playoff. Before we knew that we never had a chance by that point. So it was like, should we go Should we hang out a little bit and do some Jaeger bombs the night before? Yeah. And then the game in December 7th, I think it is. Army, Navy from FedEx Field. Or it's not FedEx anymore. I don't know what the fuck they're calling it. It used to be Jack Kent Cook's son, Jack Kent Cook Stadium, John Kent Cook, whatever the hell, Landover, Maryland. Army, Navy. Army got him last year. Sure Army gets him again this year, buddy. Munkins, I like what Munkin's doing at Army. This will definitely be a 3-point game. So, but give me Army.
Play the under. It's gonna go. Oh, I think last year did go over for the first time, but it was like at 31 or something. Is that when he fumbled going in? Was that last year?
No, it was 2 years ago.
That was 2 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, picking a winner in the Army Navy game is pretty tough, obviously. I think they might. I mean, if they get them, I think that puts them in 6 wins. That's what I think. They last year, if they beat Army, that gets them to 6 wins. That gets you in a bowl game. Everything. It's besides not just their season being that one rivalry. Literally, it means a lot more with as far as the whole season goes.
If you're at 5 wins, I have them at 4.
Oh, you have a 4. I have them at 5. Beating East Carolina, and I haven't beaten Army to get the squeak over the pylon to get to 6.
Bet detective. Are you locking that thing?
I'm not as confident. I'm not going to lock it in. I mean, I have, the order, the resilience, blah, blah, blah. Let's just say when it comes, if I'm going to bet over 5.5, my personal account, let's say we're on a don't ask, don't tell situation going over there with the military. I'm not locking that up, but I'd like them to squeak it over. I think there's no reason why they can't be 5 wins, just like they were last year going into the Army game.
What about that plus 4,000 to win the AAC?
Absolutely not. But
Hear me out on this. If they get Memphis, circle that Memphis game. That is the gigantic game because that is momentum.
I agree. That game is huge as far as the whole season goes.
Yeah, they'll be 3-0 in conference if they get Memphis. We think, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then guess what? You play Charlotte. You got them beating Charlotte, so they could be 4-0. It's not like I feel like Charlotte's a fucking lock. And then you can afford a loss or two, dude. By that point, I think the team that's going to play in the AAC championship is going to have 2 losses, and you would have the tiebreaker against Memphis. So even if let's say you get Rice, which is they're capable of beating Rice.
Sure.
Okay. South Florida, I think they'll probably lose. Tulane, they'll probably lose. ECU, they could fire Mike Houston by then. So then you would be potentially with 2 losses or hosting Tulane, and if you win that, you clinch. You know what I mean? So it changes everything. It might be worth a little bit of a sprinkle.
All right. I mean, at that number, it's not the worst. I mean, they literally have 5 coin flips. I think if you want to throw Tulane and USF in automatic losses, which I'm fine with, Air Force, Army, East Carolina, Rice, UAB, all coin flips. You win 3 of those with Bucknell, Temple, Charlotte. You got 6. Yeah, conference. Why not? But
I love how I give out the conference odds, but I'm on the under. But I got them 4-8. All right.
You're looking for alt unders, but also giving out chances. But yeah, for sure, I'm going to at 40-1, not worth a sprinkle. But I don't see them. I don't see them making a huge jump by any means.
Yeah. All right, folks, make sure. That's it. We're done. All right.
Yes.
Make sure you follow the College Football Experience on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. The Bet Detective is on Twitter at CJ Sullivan _. Make sure you check out the Bottom Line Bombs podcast. What are you guys tackling this week?
Well, we're doing our divisional preview, so I'm bringing in guests in the box. I never do that, so I've had some crazy old comics come in there and do some things. And I also talk a little Olympics, little transgender boxing controversy is always fun when people have the wrong information. Just go with it anyway.
Well, I don't get bring the head comb.
And then there was real boxing. I saw real boxing over the weekend, so I'm going to talk about that next episode because I didn't have time this time.
There you go. Check out the Bottom Line Bombs podcast, and folks, make sure, once again, follow CJ Sullivan on Twitter at CJ Sullivan _. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. Remember, we're breaking down all 134 teams in the land. So youtube.com/the college experience. What's up?
I was just going to say, I tell you what, Kobe, this show went by quickly. We got to do more schools and programs that do not care about the transfer portal. That shaves off about 15 minutes of each episode. It's great.
Let me see if I can, maybe we should, we can do the Citadel.
Yeah, see the Citadel, Clemson, all these guys.
VMI.
Washington Lee, do they got a intramural football team we can cover?
Oh boy, he's right though. That shit does take a lot of time these days. Folks, that's what happened though. 5 years ago, I was previewing these teams. It was like a 20-minute episode.
All right, bang them out.
Then the portal happened. Look, folks, go check out all the other episodes. Everything's almost out. We're less than 45 teams away from figuring this thing out and concluding all 134 team previews. So subscribe to the College Football Experience. Hit that like button as well, and also YouTube.com. I'm sorry, not YouTube. iTunes. Please, if you can hop over there, give us a 5-star review. It always helps. Sponsors, look at that shit. All right, I'm on the under. The bet detective's on the over. Till next time, folks, this is the College Football Experience, Navy midshipman style. I'll see you at the Army-Navy game, folks. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And the whole team's looking and the whole world's looking with the cameras. Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And you know